Ricardo somehow has weaved his way through, and Varney! Babadini on the left side of the penalty. Dennis Shrewsbury Hall, who fired in a second for him. Kim, big chance, 1-2-2.
Mistake from Kabul, and Mark Albrighton scores now in the scorching sunshine on the opening day. Leicester have been hot, hot, hot.
Along to Fox's Hub this morning as we welcome the start of the brand new season. Leicester, of course, are back in the Premier League, and we come to you live on Fixture release day morning with me, Dan Bates, and Matt Elliott is sat in the studio alongside me. Good morning to you, Matt. This is very much the start of a new season, isn't it? We're still, a month away from pre-season, but getting the fixtures is always very exciting.
Yeah, people are always looking forward to it, aren't they? And out nice and early this morning, and bright and breezy. And yeah, it's always a lot of intrigue around it, isn't it? Looking forward to it. And especially Leicester City fans coming back into the Premier League. The excitement is there, isn't it? And looking forward to, for numerous reasons, who the Foxes are going to come up against.
Speaking about excitement, there's already plenty of excitement, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Fans have seen it. We're 4 minutes since the fixtures have been released, and that opening day is a pretty tasty one, isn't it? Tottenham Hotspur here at King Power Stadium on Monday evening. Not a bad start, is it, that?
Yeah, a little bit of history between Leicester and Tottenham over recent years, isn't there, certainly? And even going back to my day in the League Cup. In terms of the Premier League, there've been mixed fortunes, haven't there, for both clubs, both positive and negative. But you hark back to the title-winning season, don't you? Really, I think my mind jumps there first in terms of that rivalry, and Leicester going on to gain, that magnificent achievement. But since then, there've been good games, here at the King Power, at Wembley, and also at the new stadium there down in Tottenham. But it's nice to open the season at home at the King Power, isn't it? Even better against very decent opposition. You expect Tottenham to be that this year. There's a little bit of glamour about the fixture as well, a little bit of recent history. It's almost like the ideal game if Leicester get the 3 points, that is.
The return as well of James Maddison for the first
course.
time. That'll be a bit of a headline grabber, if you like.
Yeah, as with a lot of games, there's going to be certain mixes within the opposition on the lineups. But Maddison coming, I've seen it. It's there on the bottom of the page just now. But coming back to the King Power, that will be emotional. I'm not sure I'm that quite wrapped up in it, but I get the gist. Yeah, it's another extra factor, isn't it? Maddison coming back. Will he perform? Will Leicester be able to snuff him out, etc. Harry Winks going back to Tottenham. Going back playing against Tottenham. It'd be a big game for him on a personal front. But at the end of the day, they're Premier League fixtures, aren't they? You play yourself professionally anyway. But all little different ingredients in the mix.
Yeah, speaking of Harry Winks as well, a nice little bit I'm sure that the Leicester fans will have seen on social media over the last week or so. We were DMing the players on their social media accounts while they're away on their holidays, asking who they wanted for the opening
Did they reply?
fixture. Yes, they all replied. Yes, Harry Winks especially
They're more polite these days.
Has got his wish look. So he asked Harry who he wanted straight away. Tottenham. Was his reply.
Yeah, exactly. Each individuals will have their own reasons, but Harry Winks pretty predictable. I would say that he would fancy coming up against Tottenham. What a fixture from him on a personal front, and for the club as a whole, really, you'd like to think it's a winnable game, but at the same time, tough opposition, quite a glamorous game, isn't it, in terms of Premier League fixtures or opposition, and Harry Winks in particular, he'll be dying to sort of pit himself, and I wouldn't say probably an element of look what you could have kept, but
a point to prove.
Yeah, if you ask him, he'd probably say no, but underneath, there'd be an element of that. It'll be wanting. Listen, he wouldn't perform well in any game. He's that sort of character, and as on most players. But he would absolutely cherish a strong performance and even more importantly a victory, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and if he managed to do this against Tottenham on the opening
Unlikely, but not impossible.
Not impossible, absolutely no. But he will be a key player. Obviously, there are a few question marks, it's fair to say, heading into the new season. But one thing you know is that Harry Winks, he will be a key man this season. Yeah,
I think the other players automatically will look at Harry Winks, and as they did to a degree in the Championship, you know, he was inspirational at times, but he was like sort of the go-to man, wasn't he? You know, the reliability from him, the consistency of quality that he produces. You know, he sort of exuded confidence and he gave it to other players, I felt, and probably even more so this year in the Premier League. Yeah, of course, a number of the players have got Premier League experience. Harry Winks, you know, he was a fully fledged international, really. Didn't totally consolidate himself, of course, but you know, but played more games probably than people realise for Tottenham. Although he sort of never seemed a definite sort of permanent fixture, but he has that pedigree, doesn't he? You know, you think Harry Winks, you think of him as a Premier League player. People were saying last year he's too good to play in the Championship. He'll be desperate to try and prove that, and at the same time have a positive effect on those around him, give that extra belief, yeah.
Absolutely. Still to come here this morning, we'll take a look at all of the fixtures that Leicester City, of course, have got this morning. We'll take a look at the run-in as well, and maybe those games, of course, against Nottingham Forest. Before we do that, though, let's take a look back at the last time the Foxes faced their opening day opposition, Tottenham, a couple of seasons ago.
Leicester City and Tottenham Hotspur emerging into King Power Stadium ahead of a Premier League matchup. Another corner, dangerous, it's come off Christensen, oh, it's got in! It's an own goal, maybe, is there a final touch that's touching over the line? Bentancur has led the Spurs celebration. Maddison is over the corner, Tete was with him, but he sent it in low. A flick on at the near post from Castagna, it's almost off the line from Bentancur, and then a shot comes in from Mendy, who produces his first ever Leicester City goal, and my word, that was worth waiting for. Right-footed, corner of the penalty area, he's caught it as sweet as you like, and he's gone into the top of the goal, and Leicester City have got an equaliser from the most unlikeliest of sources, Papi Mendy. The replay came on the screen, and it's just between the hand of Forster and the bar, and there was a collective ooh from the crowd, and now Iheanacho, Leicester may be in, Maddison, it's in, and Leicester have got a second, this time the man who can't stop scoring, James Maddison, 7 in his last 11 Premier League games, Iheanacho the architect as it came through the middle, and you can't leave Maddison unmarked, inside the penalty area, right-footed, rolls it into the goal, King Power Stadium in raptures.
And then Dewsbury Hall.
Iheanacho chasing, again he's one-on-one with Dyer, edge of the box, right side, Maddison to his left, Tete to his right, onto his left foot, it's in! It's Iheanacho! 5 starts this season, he's scored in all 5 of them. This one into the penalty area, onto his left foot, toying with Eric Dyer, and then finding the bottom left corner. And from Leicester, hoping they would go in at the break 2-1 up, they're going to go into the break 3-1 up. Didion for Mendy, his first task is to win the ball and find Iheanacho, his fellow Nigerian, onto Barnes! And Harvey Barnes has made it 4 for Leicester by slotting the ball into the right corner. Harvey Barnes tearing the Spurs defence apart and scoring his 8th goal of the season to provide Leicester with a 3-goal cushion, 4-1.
Any sort of repeat of that on the opening Monday evening of the new Premier League season would be pretty nice at King Power Stadium. Right, as you can see behind me, we've got the first 5 fixtures of the new season. We'll get those on the screen as well for you, so it's probably a little bit easier for you to read them as well, Matt. But Tottenham aside, obviously we know that now on the opening day. Villa, Champions League, Aston Villa now, of course, third up. You look at that as a cross-section, though, and it's not actually a bad opening.
No, not at all. I think, we've already spoken about Tottenham and that, and both I know we'll come to it, but the opening fixtures and the final fixtures are both relatively agreeable, for want of a better word. But listen, on the face of it, they're all Premier League opposition. And for Leicester, you imagine every fixture is going to be, really tough. After coming up from the Championship, notoriously teams have to battle away. But we'll have to wait and see how Leicester fare generally. But that's I wouldn't say it's a welcoming open, but it's acceptable, isn't it? You're not sort of wincing looking at those fixtures and thinking, Jesus, like we worked so hard to get back to this, and it's going to be tough work. But that's a presentable first 5 fixtures, isn't it, from Leicester's point of view?
Yeah, around the festive period, you can always see it at the bottom of your screen already. A lot of buzz because it's Liverpool on Boxing Day again, which always seems to be a trip to Anfield or Liverpool coming here either on Boxing Day or around Christmas, and that festive period is a little less truncated as what it maybe normally is.
New Year's Eve out this year.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy that.
I'm too old for that these days.
But there's a tough little run in and around that sort of area. There's Man City and Liverpool back to back, obviously. Here are the fixtures in full for you for the first time to take a look at. So as we were just talking, around Christmas time, it's Wolves home, Liverpool away, Man City home, Villa away. So a little bit of an interesting run around the festive period there. A couple of other sticky patches, Matt, but there's no huge parts where you're looking at it and really worried. No, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I mean, I don't know why. Generally, I was scanning the fixtures and reeling through them, and I'm thinking, okay, this Premier League doesn't seem as tough as some people make out. Listen, I'll probably be made to look silly, saying that in due course, and it obviously will be, a testing season for Leicester for a number of reasons. But I don't feel sort of intimidated on their behalf. Looking at the fixtures there, yes, you accept certain games, but looking at the teams there and the way it's sort of scanned out, at the end of the day, you play every team. Just hope you're in form at the right times, but it doesn't seem too intimidating. Like I say, I'm not fearful of that. I think if I'm a Leicester player as well, to look at that and go, right, okay, if we play anything like we can, I know there are a few things that need to fall into place and what have you, but I wouldn't be too scared or too, like I say, intimidated about the prospect of the season. They're in March. I mean, I'm sort of contradicting myself there. March, we've got 5 of the big teams in 6 fixtures. Is it Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, I think, with Brighton in between. That's just before the final surge. But listen, it's going to happen. That's going to happen at some stage. You hope you're in a healthy enough position to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying before we came on air, there's some people of the school of thought that, the fixtures are the fixtures. Everyone plays the same amount of games. But actually, when you get them and you look at them and you map out parts of the season, it does make a bit of a difference. And particularly, let's take a look at the run-in, really, because you said that in that March there is a tough little run, but then it comes to the final few games. Yeah. And again, Leicester fans will look at that and think there are absolutely opportunities there where points can be picked up in the final 5.
You would like to think so. I don't want to be too presumptuous or disrespectful in any way. Leicester can ill afford to be that, but yes, you look at those teams, and at that stage of the season, they might be not suitable fixtures, favourable fixtures. But having said that, listen, pros and cons. It depending on what the position Leicester are in, and then it could be a difficult run with those 5-6 games prior to that. It could suck Leicester into a situation. So there's all if buts and maybes, but it's quite interesting to sort of mull things over, isn't it?
Yeah, one thing that does potentially catch the eye is Ipswich, penultimate game of the season, the last home game. You've got Southampton there. They're two of the teams, obviously, that have come up with Leicester. There's that trip to Forest so late on as well. It's an eye-catching final five, I think.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people, from a neutral point of view, and obviously we're trying to be more positive than that, but a neutral point of view, right, okay, you've got 3 fixtures there against what are going to be fellow relegation candidates. That's not me being there. I'm saying from an outside point of view, you're going to expect those clubs to be in the lower regions. I think Leicester have got more capability than that. But, time will tell. Again, it's all part of the excitement. But, you can try and predict and preempt what you want, but it rarely sort of turns out that way. But I'm positive on the season as a whole. I think Leicester can cope better than a lot of people will think this season.
The big ones, the derby games, if you like, against Nottingham Forest. Again, always eye-catching for supporters. We can highlight those for you now. We know that one is the third to last game of the season away at Forest. At home, it's the middle of October. Yeah,
people will look for those fixtures straight away. Looking to get a little bit of revenge probably on the last couple of results.
Particularly away from home.
Away from home, certainly, yes. Yeah, before those 2 poor results, Leicester smashed Forest, didn't they, here at the King Power? But, it's an obvious rivalry there, but it's a little way off, isn't it? October, the first one. People will have to sort of hang fire on that one. There's a lot of work to do in the meantime.
Absolutely. And we know we're still, as I said, about a month away from pre-season, a couple of months away from the start of the Premier League. There's a long time to prepare and for managers of every single team to look at that. And will they look at the fixtures and will they start to pick out different sections of the season, if you like? Do they go, did you used to as a player, did you go, there's 5 there, there's 6 there, there's 3 tough ones there?
Not so much as a player. Managers did, Martin O'Neill, sort of in particular, although he didn't sort of focus on necessarily the level of opposition. It was just he would put it in sort of little brackets and say, okay, you get me a return of points from say 6 games, 18 points, get me 13 points, and there'll be some benefit in there for you. More often than not, it was a little trip away, which was quite gleefully accepted. I think managers, probably even more so now, I think they do break it down a little bit, particularly those teams who are probably foreseeing themselves in the bottom half of the table. The big teams they set out to go and win every game, don't they? As best as possible, play to the highest level as often as possible. Of course, the lower teams strive to do that, but realistically, they sort of target. They will target certain oppositions, certain areas, and they'll hope to be in full flow and top form. Which I sort of touched on it earlier. We look at some of the fixtures, and you've got a favourable run that you can pick up points. You're hoping that you're in good form then. Which is going to be important. So it does matter who you're playing and when you're playing them at times, although your form is less dictatable if you get my drift. But it's all part of the fun as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you tend to then look at the teams, particularly if you've just been promoted, the fixtures against those teams that have come up with you, of course. Obviously, Southampton and Ipswich. Yeah. There are 2 games against them in the final 5 as well.
Yeah, but I would sort of, I don't know what managers, how they would look at it these days, but I would set my sights higher than that if I was a coach or manager of a team or as a player within a squad, because you don't want to restrict yourself to that. And they're difficult opposition themselves. Leicester didn't fare particularly well, against, a couple of draws against Ipswich, wasn't it? And it didn't fare that well with Leeds, obviously.
Yeah, beat Southampton twice.
Yeah, beat Southampton in fairness. So they're out the top 4. So mixed results there, but there's no guarantees. Even if you target those games and you put your all into it, that you're going to get the positive results. You need to have higher aspirations than that, and back yourself as well, because as much as the Premier League, is a top quality league. A lot of people think it's the best league in the world. There are winnable games. Not all the clubs are, elite, and sometimes I think it's, again, without not putting a dampener on things or being critical in any way, sometimes it's overhyped. And I think as a group of players, you've got a good spirit about you and good attitude, and obviously a fair amount of ability, which Leicester have. That can take you further than a lot of people think.
Yeah, so fast forward then 2 months, which is what it'll be for that opener against Spurs. You expect that there will be a buoyant mood that's followed on from what happened at the end of last season, and hopefully here at King Power Stadium we see another brilliant result against Tottenham.
Yeah, well, listen, fingers crossed. Yeah, repeat of that. There's different time, different players. Not too much. Not too many similarities, but not too much relativity about that game. But listen, it will be positive at Leicester. Things will hopefully be fitting into place, etc. And the excitement, the expectation, getting back into the Premier League itself, and the atmosphere that will generate, and on top of it, an extra buzz because it's a club of the stature of Tottenham coming to the King Power. If it was one of the lesser clubs, it would still be a wonderful occasion. But Tottenham come in, there's a little bit of spice there. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but
I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah. There's a little bit of rivalry there, isn't there? That's developed over recent times, and brings an extra edge to the game and the occasion. And, that's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. You want games to remember, games to look forward to, and hopefully the match lives up to expectations.
Well, it feels like we're there, doesn't it, Matt? Thank you very much. We're heading into the new season now, back in the Premier League, of course. It is 2 months tomorrow, that opening day, Monday evening game with Tottenham Hotspur, of course. Before then, we'll be back with pre-season live, so do keep an eye out for that over the coming weeks as well. But we've scoured the archives and we're going to leave with one of the best goals scored at home against Tottenham in the Premier League. Goodbye.
Calming things down once again, inviting Maguire to come forward. His ball to Albrighton near side the left, looking for Vardy. Great ball to Vardy. Oh, brilliant from Jamie Vardy. That is a quite sensational goal from the England striker to take it first time and lift it nonchalantly over Hugo Lloris. Albrighton the provider. Vardy with the impudent finish to make it Leicester 1, Tottenham 0.